I thought I'd film today as I've got a bit of time before the rugby, so I thought I'd do just show you how I do like my foundation and contour, you know, things like that. I get a lot of people asking me like how to contour and stuff, so thought I'd show you and hope it's okay. My skin's quite bad at the moment, like right here where I normally put, like, you know, sort of near where I put my contour. I've got a few spots from like wearing masks and stuff, so it might not look as good as it usually does, but we'll see. And like I will say, if it's crap, I just won't upload it. So I start prepping my skin, so I do all my skincare and everything like that, but then I use the Poreless Petty Primer by e.l.f. And I've actually just ordered like a set of them, like the Petty set, so be exciting to see what that's like. And I just get a little amount and I put it on the back of my hand, thumb, and just sort of rub it in a little bit just to warm it up, and then I just put it here where I have, like, you know, where your pores are, and I just rub that in with my hands. You can use a brush if you want. I did order like the brush that comes with the set, so I'll see what that's like when it arrives, but I just put that in where like I have my pores, and just a little bit on my chin is what, excuse me, yeah, just a little bit on my chin here, and I just rub that in and make sure it's nice and set. Depending on the day, where I'm going, what I'm doing, I will use other primers as well. Like sometimes I'll use the NYX Shine Killer. If I want to, like if I'm having a long day and I don't want to get oily throughout the day. This Kryolan HD one is really good as well to like keep you matte. It's really good for photos, stuff like that. This Nip and Fab one is really nice as well. It's quite similar to the Shine Killer, where it just like keeps you matte, stops excess oil coming through, like that kind of stuff. So they're the ones that I typically use, but that one, the pore one, I use every single day because it's really good at like blurring out your pores. So if you have big pores or you just want that sort of blurred effect, that one is really good. I really recommend that one. I used to use Pore Filler by NYX, and that one's nice as well. That was one of my favourites at the time, but I don't know, something went wrong, or I don't know, I just didn't like it after a while. It stopped looking so nice on my skin, but it is a really good one. So the foundations that I normally go for, like every day, I've got this matte one from Primark. It's £3 and it's my favourite. I'm sure I've said that a lot of times before. And I also really like this stick foundation from Revolution, and I use F2, and I use Porcelain in the Primark one. I have loads of foundations, but those two are my favourite. That I've tried at the moment. So, you know, if you want more of a high end, the Born This Way is really nice. It's more of a medium coverage though. And the Body Shop, the Matte Clay foundation, I really like that one as well. And that's a nice full coverage. But these two are definitely like my everyday go-tos. Obviously you can see I use this one a lot, I really like it. So I'm going to start with this one then. And I basically just pump some onto my fingers. You can use, you know, a palette or something as well, whatever you want to do. And I just pump a bit out, and I just dot it on my face. And then I use a nice big blending brush, and this one's from Morphe. It is the I think that's it, yeah, M439. That's a really nice brush. But you can use a sponge, you can use, you know, a brush like this. It's more of like a dense sort of brush. I do use them sometimes, but this one at the moment is my absolute favourite. and then I just buff it, circular motions, just buff it into the skin. And then I do a couple of layers of that. I still have a bit of fake tan on, to be honest, so this is quite light for me. So I might mix. I'll mix it with this one actually, yeah. This is from The Ordinary. This is much more of a liquid foundation. I'm just going to put a few spots of that on, just so it blends into my skin a little bit better. And then I'm just going to take a little bit more of the Primark one, just around, like that bit like around by my nose and like on my cheeks, just because I want a bit more coverage there. I'm going to take a smaller brush for that, so it's just this one, and I'm just going to pat that in, just blend that in. And so just make sure that's all nice and blended. Okay, and then build it up until you're happy with it, you know, that kind of thing, but I'm fine with how this looks. And then take my concealer. I have lots of concealers. So sometimes if I've got like tan on, sometimes I'll actually use this Revolution stick foundation as a concealer. That extra coverage. But I think today I'm going to go with this. Yeah, I'll try this. I'll go with this one first. There's the Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Concealer. And this is in 0.5. So a lot comes out when you first pull it out. So I just wipe off the excess inside the lid. And then I just sort of dot it just there. Just to start with. And then again, you can either use a sponge, or I use a brush usually. Well, pretty much every day actually. I haven't used a sponge in a very long time. I did wet it in case I decided I want to use a sponge today, which I might, but we'll see. So I just take like a flat brush, flat concealer brush, and I just pat it in and start to drag it down a bit. So get it like right into the corner of my eye, all underneath, and start to pat it out. And then I take a fluffier brush. This is from a Cardiff-based MUA called Victoria Fox. I can't remember the number of it because it's rubbed off from where I've used it so much. But this is a really, really good concealer brush, blending brush for concealer. So I just use that to buff out the rest of my concealer and blend it into the skin. And then again, I don't know what this brush is. I've had this for a very long time. It's just a flat brush. You know, it's nothing special. And again, I just, you know, do exactly the same as what I did with the other eye. And then I think I'm gonna mix things up a little bit. I'm gonna take the Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite, and I'm gonna put that lower down. So I'm like building up some coverage just down here. I think I am going to try and use a sponge and hope for the best, because I just want to give it a go, to be honest. So I'm just going to, so this is a Real Techniques sponge, and I've just wet it, as you do, so it's just a bit damp. It's not wet, it's damp. And I'm just going to bounce that into the skin. that looks really nice. Actually, I'm quite happy with that. And then a bit on the forehead, a bit down my nose, a bit on my cupid's bow, and then a bit on my chin. And then with my sponge, I'm just going to bounce that into the skin again. So sort of like bounce and roll sometimes, you know, and kind of press it into the skin a bit more. But yeah, that looks really nice. I'm just going to go over. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way the complexion is, so that's fine. I'm going to leave that as that. I'm going to move on to contour. So you can either do cream or powder contour. So I'm going to show you both. So, you know, you get different types of cream contour. You can have like a stick, which obviously I don't have much left of, or you can have it come in a palette. I do like this one, but it's really gross because I use it all the time. You know, it's starting to dry out a little bit now, so I have ordered another one. Not of the same brand though. I think I've ordered an e.l.f. one. So I'm going to take this stick contour. It's from NYX. It's called the Wonder Stick. And you want to like feel where your cheekbone is. And then there's the hollow in your cheekbone. Usually it's kind of the top of your ear. And if you line it to like the edge of your mouth, typically that's where you want to put your contour. So I just put a little bit in there. So I'll show you. Yeah, I'll just do that first. And then I use a buffing brush. But again, you can use a sponge, you can use, you know, a more fluffier kind of brush or something, but I just kind of pack it in with this first. And you want to blend it upwards. You want to just put a little bit on to start with. You don't want to put loads on. It's much easier to add product than to remove product. So, you know, whenever, you know, when I'm doing my foundation, when I'm doing my concealer, whatever, when I'm working with products, you want to start off with a little bit and then add to it. It makes things just so much easier, because trying to correct things when you've put too much on or whatever is really difficult to do. And then you can, you know, take your sponge and just kind of pack it down even more. And then, depending on how you want to do the contour, you can do, you know, the top. Some people do the 3. So they put, you know, like that. So the shape of 3 around the forehead, down the cheekbone, and then down the jaw. I never really do around my forehead. I just don't. I normally just do my cheeks, my nose, and then sometimes I'll do my chin as well. Like my jawline and chin, that kind of thing. So I'll just do my other cheek now as well. Okay, so you can do, there are different like ways that you can do cheek contour. You can do, this is just normal, it's kind of like a general rule, just a sort of straightish line just down where the natural cheek contour is. You can you can like make you look more chiseled by like bringing it down here, and it will give you more of like a hollowed cheekbone, like starting higher, bringing it down, and again, you know, you can bring it up by lifting it higher, and that will like lift your cheekbones. Or you can do more of like a rounded, so you've got more of like a a plumper cheekbone kind of thing. So you just kind of have a play around and see what you like and what suits your face. But this is just a general, pretty much like one rule for everyone sort of thing. Just gonna have my tea. Next, I'm going to move on to the nose. Again, I'm just going to do the sort of general thing. You will know your nose better, so you can kind of decide how you want it to look and what shape and everything to be. I like a really cute button nose kind of look. I want to try and make my nose nice and slim and make it look as though the tip is a bit more lifted. Obviously, there's only so much contour can do, but that's what I try and aim for. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So taking my stick again, and I kind of decide where I want it to go. You know, because I wouldn't say like follow the natural like bone of your nose, because if you're trying to slim your nose, then you want to bring it in. If you want to widen your nose, then you want to bring it out. So I kind of just, you know, draw a line, and then the same on the other side. Just like that, and that's how I want the bridge of my nose, so, you know, the top part of my nose to look. And then the bottom of my nose is quite wide, it's quite bulbous, so I try and slim that down as much as I can as well. So I pretty much just continue this line straight and bring it in slightly at the bottom, where like the tip of your nose is. So we've got something like that going on, if you can see, hopefully. And then I just kind of fill in a little bit more on the edge. Mark out where my nostrils should be. And then I draw a little line across. And that will sort of make it look as though you've got a bit more of a lifted, sort of cute button nose. And then I'm just going to take a small fluffy brush. This is just a normal eyeshadow blending brush. I think it's a Real Technique one. It's just a crease brush sort of thing. And I'm just going to blend it out. And you want to blend it out down the sides of your nose. You don't want to pull it in. You want to blend it down the side of your nose. Okay, so it'll still look a bit harsh, but then I'm just going to take, on the other side of this, there's like a highlighter kind of thing, but you can just use concealer, you know, just something, just put in the middle, just as, you know, that highlight kind of thing. I'm going to take my sponge, and I'm just going to blend that in. And then blend in that bit in the middle with the bit on the, you know, the contour, the highlight and contour together. It stops those sort of harsh looking lines. There we go. Okay, so that's it for sort of cream contour. And if you just want to leave it at that, just, you know, just powder your face and leave it. But what I do then for the rest of my face is I set my face with a loose powder. This is the Revolution Lace powder. I am running dangerously low. I really need to get some more. And I just pour it out into a lid, just like that. And then I take another dry sponge. As you can tell, this is my powder sponge. And I just dip it in, just like that. And then I set my under eye. and I drag it along the side of my contour. And then I just set it there. So it's quite a lot, but you just leave it there. This is baking, and this lets the powder kind of sink into the skin. I can't remember exactly how it works, what it is. It's something to do with like the heat on your face. That's why they call it baking. It's like the heat on your face helps the powder to really like sink into the skin without leaving that powdery kind of look, and it helps you to stay matte all day. And I really notice when I don't bake, my skin gets really oily throughout the day. So I always do it and set all my head, because I'm so oily around here on my cheeks, so I always do it. And then just set the rest of my face, under my contour, like that. So the rest of it, you don't need to worry about putting like loads and loads and loads on your face. It's just kind of that under eye bit, you know, where you're really trying to bake. You just want to leave it there. Okay. So while I'm allowing my face to bake and the powder to set, just brush it off on my eyebrows, and then I take my so this is where I do my eyebrows now. So you can use whatever you want. You know, you can use a powder, you can use a pomade, which is what I pretty much always use. You can use a pencil. You know, there's loads of different things out there, products out there. You just kind of have to find out what's right for you and what you like, what type of look you prefer. I like quite a big dramatic brow, and for me I find pomade is the best way to do that. You can get like a natural looking brow with pomade. I am yet to master that, so I just stick, you know, I've got, like, I have no brows pretty much, like there's not a lot there. It's, yeah, so that's where I like to add a lot. So I start with my pomade, then I start where my brow starts to arch up. And I just draw a little line just there. You don't want to start right at the front of your brow, because that's where your brow will be, you want it to be like lighter and fluffier, because naturally your hairs are more sparse at the front. So if you start at the back, you drag all the product to the back, and that's where you have like a heavier brow, and then you want to start sort of in the middle, going out. That's where I'm getting at. So I do my line at the bottom, so I kind of get my shape and say, yeah, okay, that's fine, that's how I want it to look. And then I'll do the top and join the lines together. So this is where you kind of decide where you want that top arch of the brow to be. Like, your natural arch obviously is pretty much what you should go with, but if you want to change that, if you want to do something that suits your face more, because my natural brow does not suit my face. My face is much too big for my natural brows, so that's why I bring them out a lot more. So I kind of start going, yeah, okay, that's where I want my brows to go. And, you know, it depends what kind of look you're going for as well. Like, if you want a big dramatic brow, do that, like, go for it. If you want a more sort of small natural brow, then just follow your natural brow sort of thing. This pomade is a bit dry, I'll be honest. Okay, so I've got that kind of basic shape of my brow today. That's how I'm going to have it. Even though I don't like it. It's fine, let's move on. And then you can see now I've not touched the front part of my brow. I'm not going to add any more product to my brush. And I'm just going to lightly start drawing the line forward. Just using the product that's left over on my brush, the product that's on my brow, that kind of thing. And then I turn it so it's been flat, and now I'm going to turn it upwards to draw the strokes in. Now, if you have brow hairs, this will be a lot easier for you, but I don't really, so it's quite difficult to try and like make things look a bit more natural. But you just want to keep a nice light hand. This is really important to just stay nice and light with everything. If you want something to be darker, just gradually add more product. You know, don't go in with a heavy hand, and that's when you get that bluntness and things like that. And you know, so just nice and light, small amounts of product, just work that way. And then you don't have to do this. I don't even really have to do this, but I do like to. I just take a brow mascara. You can do clear, you can do coloured, whatever. And I'm just going to go through the front part of my brow and then just bring it back to set the last bit of my brow. So, like that. Then, normally I'll just straight away do my next brow. But I'll just show you what I'll do so I don't have to do loads of cutting and editing. I take a concealer, so I'll probably just take the one I used earlier actually. Or not. Oh, there they are. In the wrong drawer. It's this NYX one. I might have enough left to do my brows with actually. It's the Gotcha Covered. It's really thick, that's why I don't like it as an actual concealer. But it's really good to like help carve out your brows and as an eye primer as well. So I'm going to try and just squeeze out a bit more of this, if there's any left. Yeah, it's just a little bit left. So I just squeeze some onto the back of my thumb. And then I take just a flat, very, very flat concealer brush, which has loads of product on it, I'm sorry. So just a flat concealer brush, and I just dip the top of it, so it's like really nice and flat, and then I just clean up my brow, so I have a nice straight line under my brow. Like so, and then you just blend it out. And then just pat it off, and then taking your sponge, your powder sponge, a bit more powder, and I'm just going to set my eye. Okay, I'm going to do my other eyebrow, and I will be right back. Okay, so that's both eyebrows done. I set everything, and now I'm just going to take my powder brush, and I'm just going to sweep away all of that excess powder. And annoyingly, what I should have done is still have recorded when I did my other brow, but I didn't, because at least then you could have seen how long it takes me in reality to do it, because like when I'm doing these tutorials, it seems as though everything takes so long to do, but it's just because I'm trying to slow it down and show you, like, in depth exactly how I do things. But, like, that brow, the one that I was filming, took, like, 10 minutes, but when I just did mine then, it took 2 seconds. It really doesn't take a long time at all. So people probably think, like, oh my god, I don't have time for it, it takes forever, but when you get used to things, it doesn't. It takes 2 seconds, you know? Right, so that's, like, all the base and everything done, and then I just finish it off with some powder contour, some blusher, and some highlight. So I take a small contour brush, wherever it may be, there it is. So this is just a small little powder brush from Real Techniques, and I'm using the, I don't know why I closed it, it's rubbed off, but it's the Revolution Ultra HD, I don't know if you can see that, probably not, and I'm going to take this lighter shade here, as you can tell, that's my colour, and I just dab my brush in a little bit, whack off any excess, and then just pop it in the hollows where we put that cream contour. And again, blend it up and back. Just get it into your hairline. It looks so harsh on the camera. I don't know if it's just because of, like, the lighting and stuff, but it's not that harsh in reality. But it does look, because I look super, super pale in that camera. Maybe it's just from where I'm sitting, but, like, that light is really bright and I can't dim it. But it's not that intense in person. Like, I do like an intense contour, but not where it looks muddy and blended, you know. But yeah, so again, you know, my hands are all the way up here in the top of my brush. I'm not down like this, going in. I'm at the top, nice and light, and just placing it into, you know, the contour of my cheek. And just blending that in, you know, buffing it up. Like so. And then taking a little blending brush, eye crease brush or whatever, dabbing a little bit in, and then just going over that nose contour. It's just going over the nose contour, exactly the same placement as where you put the cream. But I do really kind of emphasise that little line there because that really helps with the cute little button nose look that we're going for. And then under my lips a little bit. Sorry, my lips look terrible, I'm really sorry. And then I'll just take this brush again and just do a little bit under my chin on my jawline. And I bring it onto my neck a little bit because you want that kind of shadow on your neck. Just to help it a little bit. Just accentuate it a little bit more. And then, like I said, you can do your forehead if you want as well. I never do. I just don't do it. That's my preference. But if you want to, you know, or add some bronzer or something, just to give more of like a kind of glowy, sun-kissed look, and to make your forehead look smaller as well with contour. But like I said, you know, I just don't. I can never get it looking nice when I do like forehead contour. I thought that whole thing wasn't recording then. So that's why I just don't bother doing it, to be honest. Can't be asked. And then I just get some blusher. Again, you don't have to use blusher if blusher's not your thing. It's not for everyone. I like a little bit of blusher. And this is also from Revolution. I swear to God, I could be a spokesgirl for Revolution. This is the blush palette, Blush Queen. I'm going to be honest, I've had this for yonks. But it's my favourite and it still works. So I mix like that more pinky shade and then this lighter shade. I mix them together and then just kind of brush it off a little on my hand. And then just pat it on and swipe it up. Just onto the apples of your cheek and then swipe it up. I actually got a new blusher the other day and I need to try that out, so I will do that soon. But it's downstairs, so I'm not going to go and get it. So I just do that little awkward smile to get my cheeks up. And I just pat on my cheeks. Again, I'm not going hard, I'm just lightly going with it. With powders, you know, I mean, even with cream as well, if you do too much of like cream contour, cream blush, you can go over it like with your sponge sort of thing. Like the same then with the powders, if you do too much, you can go over with like your powder brush and like calm it down. But it's just effort, really. To be honest, that's all it is. It's just extra work, like, so just try and go in with a nice gentle hand. But you know, sometimes mistakes happen, you do too much. God knows I put too much blush on all the time and I'm like, oh, better tone that down. But you just bit of powder, or like I said, your sponge, if it's got a bit of product on, you know, you can just kind of do that then. And then I just finish everything off with a nice highlight, and I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Moonchild palette, and I'm going to use the green Lucky Clover for today because of superstitions. And I'm just going to take my small highlighting brush, if I can find it, which I can't because everything's a mess, I haven't tidied. I'm just going to take this brush instead. This is another just highlighter brush. I'm just going to dip it in and just put that on my cheek and just bring it up. On my cheek, bring it up, and then just nice and delicately, so this is quite a big brush, so I've got to be careful, just a little bit on the tip of my nose. I say a little bit, I put so much highlighter on my nose. And then a bit up on the bridge. Like so. And then a bit on my cupid's bow. And then you can do, you know, you can put a bit on your forehead, you can put a bit under your brow, all of that kind of stuff as well. But I typically just kind of leave it at those points. My skin's really bad on this side. I shouldn't have used this side as an example because everything's a bit patchy. And everything here has turned out much nicer. But, I mean, that's it really. That's pretty much all of like the base. You know, base, contour, blusher, all of that stuff. It seems like a really long video, but in the morning this takes me 20 minutes to do. But you know, obviously when you're explaining things and going through it and really trying to show things, it does just take a lot longer. And then I finish everything off with a setting spray. This is the Revolution Pro Hydra Matte Fixing Spray. I also really like the NYX Matte Setting Spray, or the Body Shop Mint Mattifying Setting Spray. But there's so many, depending on what look you're going. If you're going for something nice and matte, you want a matte setting spray. If it's like the summer, you know, or you want something dewy, then get a dewy setting spray. and that will just give you more of like a fresh kind of look. So I'm just going to set my skin with this. And especially when you wear as much powder as I do, it's quite nice to put this on because it's hydrating and it brings moisture back into your skin and it stops you looking powdery, you know, so powdery. So this is a really good one. I really like this one. But yeah, that's pretty much it, just for like a basic, you know, how to face base kind of thing. I would then usually go ahead and just do all my eyes and my lips and all of that kind of stuff. But that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you've learnt from it. Hope it was good and informative, and I hope I kind of showed things well enough. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe. I'll hopefully get more videos out as time is going. I've just realised that my microphone has fallen on the floor, so I have no idea how well you can hear anything. I'm so sorry, I don't even know when that fell off. What a mess. Nothing can go right. It's fine. So I'll get this video up as soon as possible and hopefully get a new one up soon as well. I've got a few ideas of stuff that I want to do. It's just finding the time to do it. It's just getting it all done. So again, thank you so much for watching and I will see you all soon. Bye!